What's up, Tiger fans? It's Morgan here with the Morgan Thomas Show, back with another 5-minute video about your Clemson Tigers. All right, the College Football Playoff Committee has released another week of playoff rankings, and I haven't done many videos about this, but I wanted to discuss it. Really haven't followed every single team out there, but I have followed Clemson a ton, and I'm taking a look at the rankings, and it's getting closer and closer to crunch time with just 1 week left in the regular season and then the championship week. That's really it. I mean, there's not many more chances to prove yourself if you're Clemson or another team. So let's go through the list here real quick of the teams in the we'll do top 10. So you got Georgia number 1. I don't think many people argue that. Ohio State number 2, Michigan number 3, TCU number 4, LSU number 5, USC number 6, Alabama number 7, Clemson number 8 moves up 1 spot this week, Oregon number 9, and Tennessee number 10 to round out the top 10. Now, when you look at it, there are only 4 teams left that are undefeated in that top 10 of the playoff rankings. You got Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, and TCU. Now, the good thing for Clemson is that Ohio State plays Michigan. So one of those teams has to go down. And really, when you look at both of their schedule, I mean, it's not super impressive who they have played so far. So this is kind of their playoff or play-in game to the playoffs. So whoever wins, I feel like will go. Granted, they continue to win out, and win the Big Ten, but this game is huge for Ohio State and Michigan because it's kind of like a prove-it game for them. And it's really, like I said, close to the end of the season, so it's a prove-it game for a lot of these teams in the top 10. Thankfully, Clemson's still in that mix, but it just seems like it's going to be difficult for them right now. They have to continue to win out. Right now, as it stands, according to 538.com, you've got Clemson. They've got Clemson at a 48% chance to make the playoff, a 72% chance to win their conference, which, that really does make sense to me. I feel like Clemson can beat South Carolina. I feel like they can beat North Carolina. It's going to be tough. Those two teams can score, and South Carolina is very confident right now and believes in what they're doing, and just came off a high win there. So, and then you have North Carolina who can show that they can score, but they're so inconsistent. It's hard to know what you're going to get. I really feel like Clemson still has a chance, not as good of a chance as they did before. It kind of worries me that they still have LSU above USC and Alabama. They still have Clemson behind those teams. It's, to me, even if Clemson wins out, you're going to have a team in front of them and possibly 4 teams in front of them that also win out. And that's going to make it increasingly difficult. I think if TCU or if Michigan loses, they're probably not going to fall past 8. They're probably not going to fall past 7 if you really think about it. I mean, if they only have 1 loss, Clemson's 1 loss seems to be holding them back more. Actually, that's what I wanted to talk about too. Is there was an article on allclemson.com from Will Vandervoort recently, and he mentioned about how the College Football Playoff Committee has said that Clemson is a good team, but they're trying to figure out what stands out for Clemson. And they mentioned the good defense, and they mentioned the good record against or the 6-1 record against good teams, winning teams, but then they act like that doesn't really matter. I really feel like, unfortunately for college football and the playoff right now as it stands, which it will eventually expand, and we won't have to worry about this as much, at least with the top teams, but it just seems like Clemson needs to prove it, and not prove it on defense, but prove it on offense. It's the inconsistency in the offense. When they're clicking on all cylinders, they can do so for like 8 minutes, which we call the middle 8. But then they can't do it for the other 52 minutes, right? And then, when they're clicking on offense in the first half, they seem to come out of the second half and not click. Or they fumble a bunch in the third quarter, or whatever it may be. It's just, I hear this from the Clemson fan base a ton. Clemson needs to put together 4 complete quarters. And I don't think we've seen that yet. A lot of fans will agree with me. We haven't seen a complete game of 4 quarters from the Tigers yet. I really think that's what the playoff is looking for. But honestly, if you want me to be super honest with you, which I'm always am, it really feels like that Clemson needs to blow people out. They really need to put the playoff committee on notice that they've got it figured out, that they have weapons, not on defense. It seems like they know there's weapons on defense, but they don't care. But on offense, blow people out, show you're confident, throw your weight around, score as many points as you can. Don't take your foot off the gas, and do it for 4 quarters in a row. Clemson has 2 games left to prove that, and they may just very well have to keep putting their foot on the gas because these 2 teams coming up from South and North Carolina are also going to be risks of doing the same to you. So let me know what you think in the comments. Do you feel like Clemson has playoff hopes? I even have some fans saying, maybe just go into a New Year's Six. That'll be the best we can do, and let's accept that, and let's dominate whatever team they play in the New Year's Six. If it's Alabama, LSU, whoever it may be, dominate that game. I, on the other hand, feel like being in the playoffs allows you more practice time and a lot more marketing ability, and just get your name out there on a national level, and you don't want to lose that. Now, the New Year's Six games do the same, but not as much as a playoff game would. It's always better in a recruiting when you go into a household and you say, hey, we went to the playoffs. Not we almost went to the playoffs, or you're going to take us to the playoffs. Hopefully, it's no, we're going to be back to the playoffs because we went there. And you don't hang signs up for college football play. You hang the signs up for college football playoff. You don't really hang signs up for, at least in Death Valley, you don't hang them up for, the Peach Bowl or anything like that. You want that college football playoff 2023 up there on the stadium. Let me know what you think. Again, maybe I'm completely wrong, but I think Clemson needs to put the College Football Playoff Committee on notice in order to make it into the Final Four by the end of the season. They do need to win out, that's for sure, but I think they need some style points to help. Hey, I'm way past my 5 minutes. Let me know what you think in the comments, and don't forget, if you like this video, like the video and subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can stay up to date on all of my exclusive Clemson content I put out every single week.